Hello, Narnach here. Welcome to another vlog, a video update roughly monthly, not always exactly monthly, but talk about the state of the channel, where we've been, where we are, and where we are going. And the spreadsheet you see to that side, yeah, to that side. It's actually mirrored. Okay, it's interesting. So on my screen, the spreadsheet is to the left. In the video, it's to the other side. But yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm already getting sidetracked and haven't been going for a minute yet. That's typically me. So the spreadsheet. This is basically my master spreadsheet that I use to plan content for the channel and make sure things just flow roughly as they do. Gonna go into that for a bit, but first some numbers, because I think I usually start with numbers. So February was a pretty good month. The channel growed a little bit. We started off at 140 subs last month. We're now at 166. YouTube rounding errors being there. I mean, YouTube is a bit weird about updating its stats. It takes about a day or two to update, and different pages show different versions of the same stats because they're all a little bit out of sync. But so we basically gained about 25 people in the course of February. So that's about one a day. So that's pretty good, considering that the month there wasn't a lot of new content. It was mostly a continuation of what happened before. There weren't a lot of new series. Actually, there were no new series. I just kept going with what was going, and we slowly attracted a bunch of new people. We're at 70,000 views now, up from 60,000. So that's 10,000 views in a month. So that's actually pretty good. That's still going strong. And currently we are at 516 videos on the channel. So I actually passed through the 500 video mark without really noticing. So that's up from 470 last month. So that's 46 new videos that I added over the course of the month of February. So that's about 1.5 a day. One of the reasons that it wasn't the 2 a day that you would expect, at least, because, well, I was out for about half a week due to a pretty nasty fever thing that it's been going around the entire country, as far as I'm aware. And I think I was actually pretty lucky. I was only out for I mostly slept for 2 entire days, and then I had another 2 days after that where I felt a bit weak and my head was a bit cloudy. And now I'm mostly fine. I'm still coughing. I mean, that's almost 2 weeks later, and I'm still coughing a little bit every once in a while. But for the rest, I'm just perfectly fine again. So I've been lucky in that regard. But it did mean that I didn't record for 4 whole days. So let's have a look. I mean, last time we were at the 3rd of February. I just basically continued the series. I had a Path of Exile series that went pretty strong. Unfortunately, I killed my character a couple times, and then the server lag decided to take my final incarnation of my character. So, and with the current league, the Talisman League, ending really soon. Well, actually, it's going to end later today. I think there's about 2 hours left on the clock. And then the league is over, and then tomorrow the Ascension expansion is released. So there's no point in actually starting a new character for that. So I've been focusing more of my time on Grim Dawn, which is the second series I started for it, playing a pure Nightblade character. Reception has been pretty good, actually. A lot of views, a lot of positive feedback, a lot of interesting comments. I really enjoy the interaction with that part of the community. You just get some ideas for builds, and it's fun. It's like playing with friends without actually playing with friends. So I'm really excited about that. So tomorrow, Path of Exile Ascendancy League is going to start. I'm still dubbing whether to do a separate theory crafting video beforehand or whether to do the theory crafting in the first episode of the series proper. But the way I'm currently leaning, I'm probably going to do an episode 0 in which I do a lot of theory crafting and play around a little bit with the build tree and just think out loud about some build options, and then I can keep the episodes for the series just focused and just go. And my goal is once again to get a character to merciless difficulty on hardcore, not die to the resto this time. And because I was gonna play a Marauder. They're beefy, they're tanky, and that should be a lot better than the Shadow, which has relatively sketchy defenses. I really understand the sketchiness of the defensive now. That was one of the goals for me for the Talisman League, just getting to understand the Shadow and the Evasion Energy Shield hybrid defense. And I think I got a pretty good feel for it. So now I'm going to play a Marauder, which is the exact polar opposite of the Shadow, being a pure strength, pure armor, pure life character. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So my plan for this weekend is to record a lot of Path of Exile. I actually really liked it with the Talisman League to just record multiple videos a day. Currently I'm thinking, Friday night at 10 o'clock is when the expansion is going to be released, if my New Zealand time zone math is correct. So that means there's only going to be 2 hours in the day on Friday to actually play the game. So I'll be recording videos during that time frame, and I'll schedule them, I'll upload them, and then I'll schedule them to be released over Saturday. And that's probably going to be 4 videos in a day, just spaced out a couple hours apart, and then just trickle them through. And then on Saturday I'll be playing a lot more and recording more videos, and I'll probably end up recording videos for the entire week in the entire weekend. So I might even just make it to 20 videos recorded in one weekend, so I can just schedule them for release. And that is because, of course, on Wednesday the 9th, again, if my release math is correct, The Division is going to be released. And The Division is a game that you've already seen me do 2 videos about it, one for the first beta and one for the second beta. I'm gonna do a full playthrough of the game, at least of the PvE part of the game. It's a shooter. It's something completely different from what I usually do, but it's a tactical shooter, and I think it's interesting enough to do something for that. So with that, because it gets released during the day, during a weekday, I only have the evenings to play. So my thinking is to record 2 episodes every day and see if I can sustain that pace for the rest of the week. So that is why I was thinking to just record a lot of Path of Exile in advance, so I can just burst out basically a start of a series during the weekend when a lot of people are interested in the new expansion, to see what's new. So I can have episodes where I basically just as I find the new skills and the new abilities and new game mechanics, I can dedicate episodes to them, name them after them, make it easier for people to find it and discover about it. Because that really worked very well with the Talisman League, where I had episodes where I found new skills and started using them, thinking about them, evaluating, and so forth. I'm hoping with this new series, my plan is to do the timing a little bit better. So if I find a skill at the end of an episode, I'll probably not going to name that episode after the skill, but I'll name the next one. So I'll be able to just take the entire episode to play with a specific skill. And because I'm going with a Marauder that's going to use Thunder and Earthquake, and probably also the new Melee Totem, I'll have a couple of skills that will be new, will be interesting, and that I'll be able to just showcase and look at from every angle. But okay, that's enough Path of Exile. There will be a lot of it on the channel, and after the initial couple of days, I'll just slow down the pace to 1 video a day, and then I'll dedicate more of the channel to the Division for, let's say, the first week. And then after that, things go back to normal with just 1 episode a day for each series. Also, this is not a promise or a strict schedule. This is just my own thinking, my own timeline. things occasionally slip, slide, shift as basically as things change. But it's an indication. So, Grim Dawn, I have been just releasing a single episode every day. I've already pre-recorded yesterday evening. I played the entire evening and I recorded 4 episodes. So there's still 2 episodes, episode 10 and 11. They're still in the pipeline, already pre-recorded, already scheduled, and just ready for a release. And given that I have the rest of the evening remaining, I might actually record a bit of extra Grim Dawn, so I might be able to stretch the pre-recorded episodes till like Monday or Tuesday, so I can just dedicate the entire weekend to Path of Exile without feeling the need that I have to switch tasks to record another game when I'm focused completely on the launch. So yeah, well, that's Grim Dawn, Path of Exile, The Division already talked about. Duskers, I'm currently pretty happy with where that stands. About 1 episode a week, sometimes a bit more, sometimes a bit less. Used to be a bit more regular, but no, Duskers has been going on and off, but roughly it's once a week. Now with the daily challenges, it's interesting. I can now just start a game, do a daily challenge, and then if there's enough time, maybe do another derelict in the actual main content. But I find that the daily challenges, because you get different setups with your drones, it's interesting enough for now to do. The weekly challenges are too long for me. I had the misfortune of starting on the weekly challenge the week I got sick. So I did part 1, planning to record the next part the next day, and then I got sick, and that was for most of the week. And because on Sunday the weeks changed because of Americans, Duskers made by an American weeks start on Sunday, European weeks start on a Monday, actually. Interesting fact if you didn't know that. At least here in the Netherlands, and for what I know, Germany as well, and probably other countries as well. So yeah, the new week started on Sunday, so with the Division beta being basically something I have been looking forward to and something I did for most of the weekend, Duskers Weekly Challenge bit to the dust. And from what I understand, it's an entire galaxy. That's a lot of content. And at least that's too much for just 1 or 2 episodes a week. So I'm going to skip the weekly challenges and just do the dailies. And I'm going to hope for weekly challenges that are not 4 rooms large as they were last episode, because then you're done in 5 minutes, which is a bit of a shame. But so, Dungeon Guardians. Actually, because I have Path of Exile as my primary game, has been for half a year, and it's probably going to be for the rest of the year. Grim Dawn is my secondary game. The Division for this month is going to be my secondary game as well. Just going to balance Grim Dawn and the Division in addition to Path of Exile. I'll probably have to just straighten out the timeline here a bit. So that means that the Dungeon Guardians is going to be a bonus game for at least for March. I think I've made it past halfway through the game. I was never actually expecting to play for this long anyway on the game. And we're now, I still have to record episode 69, that's why it's red. It's been actually overdue. I mean, it started here, and then it moved over here, and then it moved over here. And it's been sliding a little bit. Dungeon Guardians is, as I said, I hadn't been expecting to play it for this long. It's interesting because it's so different from the other content that I do. But on the other end, I usually have a very short attention span when it comes to games. It's amazing. I'm still playing Path of Exile. I mean, I'm already bored with Diablo 3, for example. I think my time spent on Season 5 in Diablo 3 was 2 hours before I got bored. I think I got a Crusader to level 40 or 50 on hardcore. And then I was like, yeah, I'm just going to play Path of Exile. I'm having more fun with that. So, and Dungeon Guardians, it's slowly going towards that as well. It's a combination of factors. So on the one hand, it's getting pretty difficult. The elite fights are getting very tough to do. I have to do 2 or 3 takes to just do them. Currently at a fight where I'm still not quite sure how I'm going to tackle it, because just numerically I don't think I can actually do the battle. So that would mean I'm stuck, or I have to downgrade the difficulty or something. But on the other hand, it's interesting. The battles are almost like playing a form of chess, where you have to think several steps ahead, think of different combos, or think of how you're gonna make your moves interact. And it's like a puzzle game without actually being a puzzle game. To a certain extent, Duskers is like that as well. But it's for a couple of episodes already, I've been feeling with Dungeon Guardians like, yeah, I'll just record the episode. My heart is not entirely in it anymore. On the one hand, I feel the need to complete the series to actually finish the game, but on the other hand, I'm not even at episode 70. I'm almost, I think I'm past the half of it. So it means there's going to be another 60 episodes that I have to do to complete the content, and I'm not quite sure if I have that in me. So for now, I'm just downgrading it to bonus content, which means basically I'm not committing to releasing anything on a fixed schedule. But roughly, bonus games have been like 1 episode a week, maybe 2 episodes a week, depending a bit on how much other things I have to do. And hoping just by pacing myself a little bit, I'll preserve my interest in the game, and I will be able to just enjoy myself while recording the episodes. And most of the time, no, it's when I'm looking, not 100% looking forward to playing the game, but once I'm playing, I'm actually having fun, and it's then it's okay. It's just I need a little bit of more motivation, or so to say, to get started on it. So yeah, so Dungeon Guardians downgraded. Duskers, it was already a bonus game, so just still in the same angle. And so especially for these games, these are just rough ideas for when to release the content. And I think the way I've lined things up now is that between the main 3 games and the bonus content, basically I've scheduled the bonus content to be when I have the least amount of main game content. But I might have to shift a bit with it. This is not going to be how you will eventually see it on the channel, but this is just how it is in my head. So, let's see. I talked about a bit of numbers. Path of Exile, Grim Dawn, Dungeon Guardians, Duskers, other things. The 25th, Factorio got released onto Steam. So Factorio is an awesome simulation game in which you play the role of a guy who's crash landed on an alien planet and has to survive. But it's not a survival horror game, it's actually a factory building game. So you start out with your pickaxe, just getting iron from the floor, getting copper from the floor, getting coal and stone from the floor, and just manually crafting stuff. And you start out with a furnace that you can smelt things in, and a burner drill that you can feed coal into, so it will actually harvest some resources for you. But you can actually build up things like steam generators, boilers, pumps. Get yourself a steam-powered electricity generator that way. Then build a research lab, manually craft some resource potions to feed into the lab. Do some research, unlock the tech to build a factory, and then you can let that factory build the tech potions for you. And then have these mechanical arms that you can use to move things between things. So you can take those potions from the factory, put them in the lab, and automate your research, at least the lower stage research. And then you best expand your factory, and then eventually you can add trains to it that just go everywhere. You can have flying robots that pick up bits and pieces and just move them all around. And you can set up this entire assembly line of factories. And it's going to generate a lot of smoke, and that smoke's going to get into the eyes of the local alien population, and they'll start crying, and then they'll get angry, and they'll just swarm you and try to eat up your factory. And you have to defend yourself and build automated defenses, build some turrets, upgrade those turrets, automate the production of ammo for those turrets, eventually build some laser turrets, and then you can use your power grid to feed them, and you don't need ammo anymore. And it just keeps going and going and going. And you just keep building and researching more things and expanding it. And there's an entire oil industry. And the game is a lot of fun. And I was planning to do a series on it, but no, there was just too much stuff happening, and especially with this early March with a number of interesting releases coming up. I figured, no, let's not take on the additional responsibility of also doing a series on Factorio. There's a lot of other people already doing that. So if what I said excited you, check out Root Negative's channel, or Negative Root. He uses those names interchangeably, so I'm not quite sure what is the canonical name. As far as I'm concerned, he's the expert on Factorio. He's done a lot of research. He's collected a lot of tutorials on the game as the game has been developed, because the game has been in development since 2013. I was actually one of the Indiegogo crowdfunding backers back then. And I've been playing it ever since. I've put hundreds of hours into the game. It's lots of fun. But there are people who put even more time into the game and know even more about it. And actually they can explain the game to you in a very entertaining manner. So in the description below, there will be a link to his channel. So yeah, Factorio, definitely check it out. It's awesome. Another game that actually got launched somewhere last month. Here, XCOM 2. That's another game I actually considered maybe do a series on it, maybe not do a series on it. So got together with a couple of friends at our office. Just brought all our gaming rigs and just set up monitors everywhere, and it was fun. We started playing Friday night. Got a bunch of food, got a bunch of beer, and played till way too late. It was a lot of fun. And then on Saturday morning, just went back home, got a little bit of sleep, and after that, I think I played XCOM for maybe an hour or two. I was like, let's go back to Path of Exile. So it was fun to play, but it's not something I'm completely passionate about. So I decided let's not do a series about it, because then again I'm committing to something that's gonna go on for a lot of episodes. But yeah, it's definitely fun if you're into tactical games. XCOM 2, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, right. So I think that's really it for this episode. I did a one-off of Age of Gladiators. So just a random game that I saw on Steam. I think it got released on Thursday or Friday. And it was still on the front list of Steam when I just happened to see it. It's like, hey, that looks interesting. So I think it was $10, so it was pretty affordable. So I started playing it on Saturday afternoon, just after lunch. And before I knew it, it was just after dinner time, way after dinner time, and I hadn't eaten dinner yet, and it was dark outside, and I was still playing. And it's like, okay, this game really sucked me in, so let's make a video about it. So, yeah, it's also a fun one. But given that Path of Exile is coming up, the Division is coming up, I'm pretty busy with Grim Dawn. See how much, if I can sustain the pace, or if I'll actually have to interweave it a bit with some other games. Not gonna do any more one-offs, I think. Then again, Age of Gladiators I didn't expect to do either. It just happened. Sorry. So, yeah, well, I think that's it. You're up to date now. So, if you made it all the way to the end, once again, thank you very much for watching. And probably talk to you again in April. Bye-bye.